G'day, it's Gussie and MG here with your reader questions for MG. Let's start the ball rolling. Ryan Nash, MG, says, when will the NRL start penalising for milking? And I'm imagining he's talking about milking for penalties. When they keep saying, you're milking it, well, penalise them for it.
Yeah, I think referees have got to stop trying to turn themselves into coaches and tell the defensive line when to, dominant, just call out their numbers, and if they don't get off, penalise them. But milking's very hard to penalise against because you don't know whether a player's injured or he's not. Referees aren't doctors, but on some incidences where you can see that a player has just basically taken a dive.
The obvious one.
Well, then again, how do you know it's obvious? And then if you find out later on he's done something with his Achilles tendon, or he's done something with his neck. Yeah. So it's something that the players have got to, as the Players Association's got to say to their members, boys, it's not a good look for the game when you're going down injured and you're not really hurt. Okay.
What about Chris Cameron? What are your thoughts about players wanting to leave the clubs based on compassionate grounds? At the moment, Barber back to the Broncos. Ferguson wants to be close to Mundine in Sydney. Milford wants to go back to the Broncos.
Yeah, I think everyone has hardship in their life. Sometimes you just got to suck it up and obviously you've got circumstances which are more dire than others. But I think just to say to your club, look, I'm homesick, I want to go back to a club, is not good enough. If you want the big money,
if you've signed the contract,
in good faith 2 years earlier, and then a year later you say, look, I've had enough, I want to go. Well, there shouldn't be any way, shape or form you're allowed to do it. There should be some sort of contractual agreement, certainly though contracts aren't anything these days, but the paper...
They can just walk away from them, can't they? Yeah.
Again, the Players Association have got to say to their members, boys, let's try and find out why you want to go back, and let's try and work out a happy medium. Maybe we can get your parents to come to you a bit more, your family to come to you a lot more. But it's happening way too much for my liking, and I think for most fans' liking as well.
Okay, and the last one is Cain Williams. If you could take away a rule, which rule would that be and why? And if you were allowed to add a rule, what would that be? So let's start with what rule would you take away?
Well, I'd take away...
I've got a feeling the shoulder charge might come into play.
Shoulder charge, 100%.
So that's back?
A shoulder charge is back.
Okay.
And the next rule I want to bring in is that we, instead of 10 interchanges on the bench, we have 6.
Why would you do that? So
we want to see a lot more attrition. We want to see halfbacks running at defensive lines when the forwards are tired. We want to see conniving halves and 5/8s, probing the defensive line when
against knackered forwards, basically.
I know when my time as a rugby league player, the most scary time was 5 minutes before half time, 5 minutes before full time, because that's when the halfbacks would start singling you out, and you couldn't get replaced. These days, as soon as you look like getting one bit tired, as a front row or second row, off you go. The average front rower plays 42 minutes. But does he get half the pay?
No, he does not.
So let's make him earn his money. Let's take away 4 interchange, and let's bring some attrition back to rugby league with the very roots it was founded upon back in 1908. Thanks, mate.